Solving Quadratic Equations, a visual aid by Luke Gallagher, Tristan Adams, and Miranda Richards.
There are three ways to solve. First one is completing the square, then quadratic formula, or graphically. Completing the square, a method to recreate a quadratic equation in such a way as to solve by taking the square root of both sides. In this example, first you write in standard form, which is ax squared plus b squared plus c equals 0. Next, you move the c to the right side to get it by itself. Then you add b over 2 squared to both sides, and then you factor them. Next, you solve by taking the square roots of both sides, and then you get out with your answers.
Then you have the quadratical formula, which is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. If you look on the right, we have an example of x squared minus 12x plus 27 equaling 0. First, you simplify that, and then solve for x, and there are your answers. There's also Poly-Schmelt. You can find this on your calculator and your applications, Poly-Schmelt, and then you enter your coefficients and then solve.
And then we have graphically. In general form, quadratic equation looks like fx equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. For example, fx equals x squared plus 2x plus 1, or fx equals 9x squared plus 10x minus 8. To graph, we need the vertex of the parabola, say hk, which is given by h equals negative b by 2a, and k equals fh. In standard form, the quadratic equation becomes fx equals ax minus h squared plus k, where hk directly gives you the vertex hk of your graph parabola. Replace the variables with the appropriate numbers. Each algebra problem will give you a quadratic equation with the variables filled in, usually in general form. For example, for fx equals 2x squared plus 16x plus 39, we have a equals 2, b equals 16, and c equals 39. Calculate h. Remember that h equals negative b over 2a. So in our example, h equals negative 16 divided by 2 by 2. When we calculate that, we end up with negative 4. Calculate k. Remember that k equals fh. We just determined that in our example, h equals negative 4. So this number replaces x in our general form. K equals 2 negative 4 times 2 plus 16 times negative 4 plus 39. When we work that out, we get k equals 7. Next, you find your vertex. The vertex of your parabola will be hk. In our example, our vertex will be at negative 4 and 7. So your parabola will peak 4 spaces to the left of 0 and 7 spaces above 0. Plot this on your graph and be sure to write in your coordinates. Next, you draw the axis. The axis of symmetry of a parabola is the line in its middle. Basically, the left side of the parabola will mirror the right side. Whenever the quadratic is of the form fx equals ax squared plus bx plus c, the axis is a parallel line to that y-axis and passing through the vertex. So in this case, the axis is a line parallel to the y-axis and passing through the point negative 4, 7. Lightly mark that on your graph. This is not part of the graph itself, but helps you see how the parabola curves. And then you find the direction of opening and plot. After having figured out the vertex and axis of the parabola, the last thing we need to know is whether the parabola will open upwards or downwards. If a, the coefficient of x squared, is positive, it will open upwards while a is negative. The parabola will open downwards. In the example, it will be turned upside down. So for the example under consideration, we will have a parabola opening upwards because a equals 2, which is positive.
Yay, the end.